My name is Dr. Gor Goody. I'm the branch secretary for Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union for Central Branch. Central Branch is the former Central Province. I'm also a senior medical officer. I'm a holder of degree in medicine and surgery as well. I am a senior medical officer serving in the Nyeri County. Thank you. The issue started in 2017 where the autoclave that is used to sanitize and sterilize equipments for surgical equipments and linens broke down. Incinerator, a machine that is used to dispose infectious waste like amputated limbs and placenta from mothers, broke down, and several letters were done to the county, including the governor, letting her know that these issues have been going on and lack of repairing of these important machines can lead to spread of infection to the workers in the hospital, to the patients, and to the community at large. But the steps were not taken, and as I speak today, the incinerator and autoclave have still not yet been fixed. Infectious wastes are being disposed in the hospital grounds that is accessible to patients, other health workers, and the community at large. Actually, where the waste products have been disposed, as it has been shown severally on television, is close to the pediatric ward where we have the children. That has caused a lot of problem. Another thing that went on was because of lack of linens in the hospital, mothers that had just delivered did not have clothes to wear. They had to go and see their children in the newborn unit with lessons that they bring from home because hospital could not have its linen. The linen were being cleaned at the Karatina Hospital at a very minimal load because the hospital itself has their own linens to do. This led to a lot of infections in the newborn unit. I am talking about neonates. These are small babies. They are not even 28 days. They have not even learned to smile. And they get infection because of a dirty hospital. We have to start giving them poison. Medicine is essentially poison in low dose to kill actively living bacteria in your body. We have to start pumping poison in these neonates at a very early age. What does that mean for that child going on? They will have resistance to antibiotic. It increases the use of resource in this child or this patient should they get sick again. The deplorable hospital condition does not just affect the people who are in, it affects Wanjiko in general, because at the end of the day, the government hospitals are what is accessible to the public. As if that is not enough, the dispensary in the clinic in the county was shut down, meaning that we do not, as we speak in Kirinyaga right now, there is a grave lacking of promotive and preventive health, meaning that vaccination, advice on non-communicable diseases like diabetes and hypertension that is prevalent in central region cannot be done. What does that also mean? That the hospitals like Kerugoya level 5 is overburdened with those kind of services, and therefore they cannot do what a level 5 should do, that is palliative and curative health. That has led to many patients being overburdened in Nyeri County. I work in that county. 50% of my patients in the ward are from Kirinyaga County. As if that was not enough, all the other unions, after realizing that letters being done from the county health committees and even the former CEC, Dr. Agnes, all the communication about the dilapidation of the hospital was ignored, and all these letters were delivered to the governor's office. After the county officers failed, the unions had to come in for the welfare of their doctors and their other health workers. What happened? On the 13th of May, we did a presser and we requested the governor to make sure that the hospital is up to date, because the casual laborers that were trained and specialized in managing human waste, hospital waste segregation and management, handling of patients from casualty to the wards, from theater to the wards, were fired, which made the entire deplorable condition even worse, because the casuals that were hired after that were untrained. meaning that they do not know the proper ablution methods, they do not know how to do waste segregation and management. That further worsened the condition of the hospital. Patients started sleeping on just Macintoshes. The wards were so dirty, and 3 health workers contracted hepatitis B and C. It's important to note that hepatitis B and C eventually predisposes these health workers to liver cancer in the next 10 to 15 years should they remain completely healthy. That is not something that we can guarantee. Other living facilities in the hospital that is given to the health workers is riddled with asbestos. Asbestos is the single most agent causing mesothelioma. That is an aggressive lung cancer. That goes against the Occupational Safety and Health Act. Our workers, not only are their lives in danger, but as we speak now, they have been fired for over 1 year. And I'd like to note that they were fired even before the strike was deemed illegal and unprotected. The reason why health workers in Kirinyaga had to go on strike is because we exhaustively searched for everything that we could possibly do to negotiate this crisis in the county, but we could not get any communication from the governor's office. As we followed up from 2017 to 2019, we kept getting answers that there is no money to upgrade the health facilities and all those things. To mitigate that, we went to the county assembly on the 2nd of July. We saw an oath and we made our case, where we were assured by the chairman of the finance committee that 1.5 billion shillings was allocated to health to mitigate this exact crisis that has happened. That's when we realized that we are lacking goodwill from the CEO of the county in order to mitigate this crisis. That is the genesis of our strike. And as I speak right now, all the issues we went on strike for, lack of proper equipments, human resource, the doctor-patient ratio in Kirinyaga is 1 to 30,000. We only have 6-7 consultants, that is one of each. WHO recommends one doctor to 1,000 patients. You can see that one doctor in that county is working for over 30 doctors, and still salaries don't come on time. They have not been promoted in 10 years. They are not taken for postgraduate studies, that is specialized studies. In Kirinyaga, we get a lot of patients with head injury. We have doctors who applied to go and do neurosurgery, but they were denied. No specialization is happening. 3 doctors went to school to pursue their postgraduate studies, but they were unprocedurally fired. We wrote letters asking the county why they were fired. We never received back any communication. And I'd like the Honorable Committee to note that since 2017, all the communications that we have done through the union, none of them have been answered. Even the dispute, the labor dispute that we registered with the Ministry of Labor was not responded to by the county of Kirinyaga. So as I speak right now, I have never had a chance to sit down with the CEO of Kirinyaga County and discuss health matters at all. Even when we had informal meetings, we used to be stood up. So I can say openly that in health, we need to feel leadership, because health is not a matter of joke. When a patient dies, we cannot recover that. And when the specialists in your county, the people whom you have hired to take care of your health, tell you that indeed people are dying after surgery because the linens we are using on them have blood from other patients because the autoclave is not working, the governor should take it seriously. When we say that the hospital kitchen is dirty, the drainage is terrible and is causing hospital-acquired infection, the governor should take it seriously. When you employ a specialist and you don't take their advice, you're doing a disservice to yourself, to that person, and to community in general. Thank you.
Just to clarify some issues, you spoke about the shutting down of some dispensaries, yes?
Yes.
Are you aware who might have authorized the shutting down of those dispensaries?
Yes, we were told that that order came from the CEO of the county, citing lack of funds to run the health facilities.
I gather you to mean the CEO, the governor?
Yes.
How many dispensaries were shut down?
Over 30 dispensaries.
You know the reasons as regional representative why they were shut down, and are they in operation today?
They are not in operation. We even have a letter from the public health officer in Kirinyaga who did a letter to the governor telling the governor that the dispensaries are dilapidated, the grass is at the level of the hip, that is where pests like snakes are roaming around in the hospital. For example, Kedembe Hospital, we have incidences of snakes entering the theater. When the doctor wants to operate, first you have to be a snake wrangler so that you can finally take care of your patient.
Daktari, you spoke about the issues of the casual workers who were fired, yes?
Yes.
What time were they fired? Before the strike or after this, during the subsistence of the strike?
During the subsistence of the strike.
Had the strike been declared illegal by the Labor and Relations Court?
No.
Could you be knowing whether the governor was involved in the firing of the said casual workers?
Yes. Yes, and there's even a public statement to the same effect.
Who made the public statement?
The governor of Kirinyaga.
You speak to the issues of the surrounding environment relating to the situation in which your doctors work in, yes?
Yes.
And you allege that, or you state that there are some asbestos roofing.
Yes.
Which hospitals are roofed with the asbestos?
The Kirinyaga Hospital and the houses.
The Kiregoya Hospital.
Kiregoya Hospital and the houses within the hospital that houses the health workers.
Has your union made any attempts to have that issue looked into or rectified?
Several times, especially after the arrival of the Cuban doctors, we realized that the Kenyan doctors have horrible housing. We tried to address it, but we could not get back any communication.
You speak in your statement at paragraph 8, you speak about reinstated 77 health workers, yes?
Yes.
When were they reinstated and who ordered or authorized their reinstatement?
During the strike, the governor had given us an olive branch that should the health workers go back to work, they'd be reinstated. 77 health workers went back to work in July last year, but their salaries were never paid up to date until on last Monday, the court gave the judgment to have the reinstated health workers be paid. They worked for almost a year without salary after reinstatement.